Hi everybody, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Thank you for joining us today. I hope that you're feeling well and living a creative life in your 60s and 70s and older. It's a story that I want to share with you today because I believe that as we get older, and especially during the times that we've been through the last couple of years, creativity is a core strength. And it's something that can help us to build resilience and adaptability and ways and outlets for our inner passions. Now, all of our lives, we've been attached to roles that maybe took us away from our creative center. But I think that during this last couple of years, we've had a chance to explore. And this article I'm referring to here is by Marcia Smalley. It's a story about living a creative life in your midlife. And she talks a lot about the book by Julia Cameron. Now, I've never read The Artist's Way, and I've never actually followed the workbook. Maybe you have, and you can really identify with this because the name of the book really says it all, which is, It's Never Too Late to Begin Again, Discovering Creativity and Meaning in Midlife and Beyond. That's the title of this book, and I think it's a really has been a very powerful influence in a lot of people's lives. So Marcia talks about this in terms of her own experience. Now, she said that during the pandemic, and we're all, as I'm recording this, still in that middle of that, she actually started doing sort of creative lifestyle Zoom calls with her friends, and they got together and found that this was a way for them to explore their creative sides, and not be physically together, but be together in spirit and together in a workable way. And as I was reading her own story, I thought about mine and about ours and 60 and Me, and I remember in 2020 when we started. When the pandemic started, we started to do Facebook live shows every single day. And at the time, it was, if you remember, it was such an incredible time of fear and the unknown. We didn't know where we were going. We didn't know what to expect. We just didn't know how this virus was going to work. And so everybody was just needing a lot of hugs. And so for many months, we did the Facebook Lives every single day. And we had hundreds of women come and join us. And even to this day, I get messages from people saying how much that changed their life, how having that point of focus with other women. Now, of course, we couldn't see each other during that time. You could see me, of course, on the live, but people were still feeling connected. And now in our Patreon group, our supporters group, we do what we call friendship lounges. They were called lockdown lounges in 2021. And we just kind of moved on. And of course, all of us had a much deeper idea of what to expect and what this virus was all about. And, had our vaccinations perhaps, and life was good. But anyway, we have these two times a week now. We have a live show where we pretty much do a similar thing. We say, here we are, who needs a hug? How's everybody doing? And also talk about our creative outlets and what we're doing to occupy our time, what we're doing to make our lives more creative and fun. And, people are doing, of course, knitting and reading and movies and binge watching, and also things like painting and diamond painting, mosaics, pottery, all kinds of things. But it doesn't really matter what the creative outlet is. It's that we're just plugging into that. And the creative journey that Marcia took was, these Zoom calls, and really what they talked about was how to navigate life in this new time, and how to reflect on the opportunities that have come from the past 2 years, but also to move forward. So what she talks about here, some things that you can reignite in a conversation about creativity, whether it's, with a small group or a large group like on 60 and Me or with Marcia's group. Writing is another big one I should have mentioned, because many women have always wanted to write a book or write, their life story. And this is the time. So anyway, these are the things that Marcia says you need to reignite in your 60s. And I hope that this inspires you. These videos are just me sitting here, kind of almost reflecting on my own life as I share, but they're very relevant, and I hope that you get something from them. And please leave comments in the section below. Help each other, because this hopefully will generate some conversation. So, reignite a sense of honesty. Okay, I wasn't expecting that one when I read this article, but it's so, so true. If you can live in an honest frame of mind, and that means accepting yourself for what you are, who you are, all your flaws, all the things that you think are not good enough or not complete enough, be honest with yourself and don't censor yourself. Don't, sort of let that negative self-talk creep in to sort of undermine the things that you know are the truth in your life and the truth in general in the world. I think there's only one big truth, but then there's our interpretations. Reigniting a sense of humility. I think that it's been very challenging the last few years to basically feel like we want to stay in control. We want to be strong. We want to present a face of being able to cope and adapt. But it's also a sense of humility to know that our ego, which wants to be in control of everything, especially our creative process. The other side of us, the more sort of introvert side, that knows that we want to paint or knows that we want to write, is always beaten up by the ego, because the ego's strong. It's the one that says, you don't even know how to use a paintbrush. Come on, you can't read. You need large print books, or come up with any excuse to get you from doing the creative thing that you want to do. So appreciate that you can be strong and push back against your ego, which is there in a way to protect you and keep everything on course, just boring old course, and and let you be free. So reignite your humility. Reignite your sense of resilience. We have talked about this so many times, and I think that in many, many ways, older women in their 60s, 70s, and older, and 50s too, are just beginning to feel like they can bounce back from this. We're okay. We took the challenge on, and we have fought it, and we are now stronger and more resilient for that. So honor and reignite that sense of resilience, that you're not weak, that you're not falling apart, that you aren't succumbing to fear, that you're going to keep going. Reigniting a sense of joy. I'm reading my notes because I every time I start talking about a particular topic, I think, and I go off on my own little thing, but reignite a sense of joy. How have I found joy this last couple of years? Well, I certainly have been out in nature a lot more. For a long time, that was all we could do. We could just go for a walk. We couldn't even go out of our houses. But now I get out a lot. I really embrace the small things in life. I've really started to look at my finances and at my lifestyle and realized I've got to stop, pushing out too much with things that I don't really need and focus on the things that I do need that bring me joy. And honestly, I've learned so much about myself through that process. Things like just, buying a cup of tea or taking a thermos of coffee rather than buying a coffee in a cafe, and just, sitting down, reading, thinking, sharing, making, these videos for a start. I really love to do it. And I think that allowing yourself to have some fun and that creative energy that comes from it is really the key to creativity. So name a few things that you love to do right now. What makes you laugh? What makes you smile? I think that reigniting a sense of joy is important. Also, a sense of movement and motion. And it's not just exercise, because that definitely inspires creativity in my experience, but it's also just a sense of moving forward. Knowing that we may have been in a rhythm, in a pattern that was really kind of hard the last few years, but we now are moving forward, pushing ahead. And then, of course, reigniting the sense of vitality that goes with that. That we don't need to be just moving at a snail's pace, that we can take on big challenges. If we want to do something that's going to involve some steps with our creative process. And by the way, as I mentioned earlier, this is not just painting or drawing or knitting. This is like creativity of thinking of new ways of doing things, right? And then with that comes reigniting a sense of adventure. Okay, hands up who's missed travel. I really miss traveling, and I've just made my own ways. I take buses, of course, all masked up, and I take trains, I walk a lot, and I also look at, I do some funny things too. Like I take a suitcase and just wheel it around the town, like as if I'm going somewhere, or I do, it's just silly, but it makes me feel, when I have a suitcase in my hand, I look around and I feel like I'm waiting to go to the airport or to the train, and it just energizes me. So re-engage with that sense of adventure. Finally, reignite your sense of faith. Whether it is a faith that has a formal structure to it, or whether it's just the fact that you hope for a better world, reignite your faith in people, in yourself, in your family, in your life. Life is a creative process, and I want to thank Marcia for reminding us of that, and also referring to the book that was so powerful, The Artist's Way, Julie Cameron. It's just, you know the book. We create ourselves every day. We are at work in progress. So I'd love you to share with us how you define creativity in your life, and which one of the things that I mentioned that we have to reignite in order to get there are you focused on or practicing. I really hope that you're doing okay. I send you all my love and support. I know that hope is a rare commodity in times when we're nervous and afraid and just fed up or bored. It's just one that we have to pull from the deepest part inside of us and reach out to friends. So please share this video if you liked it. Give it a thumbs up, because that helps YouTube share its algorithm and more people see it. And then if you like this video, I do 4 every week, so you can just subscribe to the channel and then just press that notification bell so you're informed when new videos go up. But it's a joy to do these talks for you, and I hope that they stimulate and help and support you on the journey of creativity in midlife and beyond. Thank you so much for being here. Sending you lots and lots of love. Take care.